You're being lied to and it's time to put an end to it. Guessers, liars and egotistical know-it-alls are raking in huge sums of money behind paywalls by taking advantage of people who are just trying to work out what's going on. Well, starting today, that stops. Today I'm bringing receipts. We're going to track wrong information, blatant speculation and lies so that we know who we can trust with our money and who we definitely can't. Who we can trust with our time and who we definitely can't. And we're not going to mess around. So here's what happened in February that you need to know about. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez thought Drew McIntyre was legitimately furious with LA Knight or Logan Paul for interrupting his spot with Damian Priest at the Rumble. Firstly, clearly not very clear, but we're going to cover a lot of ground with McIntyre in this show, I can promise you that. In reality, McIntyre was annoyed, but within about 5 minutes had calmed down. He's a bit of a hothead, what can I say? He and LA Knight would quickly agree a brief but memorable storyline, allowing McIntyre to get his revenge, but also a notable promo for LA Knight. All good. The Daily Mail here in the UK, who are notoriously ridiculous, claim that Drew McIntyre will wrestle Damian Priest at WrestleMania. This is true. They also claim that McIntyre believes he is way above this and that Damian Priest is beneath him. This is far from true. McIntyre was eliminated first from the Elimination Chamber by Damian Priest and hit him with a Claymore afterwards as we head towards an opportunity for McIntyre to give back and help a friend develop. You cannot be the champion every second of every day, and some people really genuinely believe this and will take your money in order to help you believe this as well. They're both very excited for this match, even if some think that fans aren't. Your bias is showing. Meltzer also said that he didn't believe Peterborough Insider's reporting that Alexa Bliss had a late contract issue and wouldn't return to the WWE until this issue was resolved. Ironically, he definitely believed this before the Royal Rumble when she returned to the WWE because he reported that she wouldn't be there because of contract issues. So, the rumour killer that Dave Meltzer is giving you is for a rumour created by the Wrestling Observer. That's going to come up again. To confirm she was there, I'd reported that the WWE were holding a spot open for her, confirmed by the fact that she literally turned up. PW Insider, who had wrongly reported on Bliss's contract, reported that she'd be going to Raw. Nope. SmackDown, this is not a good week for PW Insider, is it? The very first one, and I do feel like I'm just piling heat on here. Fightful claimed that Roxanne Perez was on the radar for a call-up from NXT, but no formal date had been agreed. She'd already been called up. She was not just in the Elimination Chamber, she's been featured on either Raw or SmackDown every week since her Royal Rumble debut. If she hasn't been called up, then where the hell is she finding the way to turn up at the wrong show week in, week out? WrestleVotes reported that Nikki Bella has done significant merch numbers and the company is thrilled with her return at the Rumble. The WWE in fact are open to the idea of a full-time return. She literally hasn't been seen for a single second since. PW Insider revisited their incorrect report on Alexa Bliss, and I know what you're thinking, and you know what? I give absolute credit to anyone who reports something and then corrects it later and apologize. Oh, they didn't do that. They did. What did they? Oh. They said that she was heading to SmackDown but only behind a paywall and didn't even refer to their previous report. Class. She wasn't at Raw, so funnily enough the fact that this report came after that happened certainly raises questions, but you also had to pay Peterborough Insider for the privilege of them saying, "We were right, but plans changed." Historically this was known as the Meltzer move, and we'll talk about why very soon. Dr. Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda, this name's going to come up a lot here, reported that Charlotte Flair might turn heel in her feud with Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship, the match to come at WrestleMania. He reported this after she turned heel during a promo on SmackDown. How incisive of him. Similarly, Fightful's Select Paywall reported that LA Knight and Drew McIntyre were fine working together after their Royal Rumble issue. Now this is great news. Honestly, I was thrilled to hear this, especially given that it happened after they successfully were fine working together on SmackDown after their Royal Rumble issue. Again, how incisive. The Wrestling Observer reported that Elijah, formerly known as Elias in the WWE, had signed with AEW. They would later report that he'd signed with TNA instead, which for those keeping score at home is not AEW. Once again, the rumour killer for the Wrestling Observer is to kill a rumour started by the Wrestling Observer. Again, we're going to revisit this a few times, just in February. Dr. Chris Featherstone, I told you that name was coming up again, reported that the WWE were talking about changing McIntyre's opponent away from Damian Priest due to fan backlash. You can literally see the WWE setting a trap for Sportskeeda right here. It's something that is happening now under Triple H. The WWE putting out intentional false information to try and catch people out. The WWE still had every intention of McIntyre versus Priest, and you can see where the trap's going to close, and don't worry, we'll get to that too. PW Nexus reported that Jey Uso's Royal Rumble win had been decided less than a month in advance. This was also per Viper Reports, who previously reported that CM Punk vs Gunter would take place at Survivor Series. This isn't true. I've reported the actual timeline during Spoiler Warning, and Fightful confirmed this, but again behind their paywall, whereas check out Spoiler Warning, it's free. Brian Alvarez reported that Chad Gable might be working some AAA dates during his sabbatical. Now, I think, and drop it in the comments, you know where I'm going with this. What am I going to say? That's right. Brian Alvarez would later rumour kill himself and get headlines and bylines for both the rumour and the rumour kill. This is a common trope now for the Wrestling Observer, just in this month, not even looking at their history. PW Insider, I promise I'm not trying to bully you, reported that Keith Lee was backstage at Dynamite. This was disputed by none other than Keith Lee himself. Maybe Keith Lee's trying to bully you? I don't know. WrestleVotes behind the Sportskeeda paywall have claimed that the WWE are planning an AJ Styles vs Finn Balor match in singles competition at WrestleMania. Now, every outlet seems to have a different opinion on who Styles will face, and there has not been a confirmed report for who Styles will face as of yet. The only guarantee right now seems to be that there won't be a singles match with Finn Balor, if Balor even makes WrestleMania. This is one of those where, if this is going to happen, someone probably needs to tell WWE about it. WrestleVotes also said that the undercard for Mania is still being set and that the WWE aren't certain as to what will happen. This isn't true. Every match confirmed so far by WWE is exactly what I was expecting when I put forward my WrestleMania preview 2 weeks ago during Spoiler Warning. That's before WrestleVotes even said this. Every match that they have announced, I'd already reported. Jonathan Coachman claimed that Shane McMahon wanted to sign for AEW and essentially take over running the show. This is clearly untrue because, first and foremost, where the hell is he if that was the plan? He hasn't appeared in AEW in any capacity, and Tony Khan certainly hasn't put him on blast for trying to ruin things. Tony Khan does do that on the good old Twitter sphere. PW Insider, sorry not sorry, reported that The Rock turning up to SmackDown was planned less than 24 hours in advance, with the company having to completely rewrite plans to accommodate the surprise appearance. Fightful's paywall also reported that the Mania card was now a lot less certain because of The Rock. Once again, every match thus far confirmed I reported 2 weeks ago, so I have to query this. More importantly, John Cena does not turn heel based on less than 24 hours of planning. This is nowhere near as out of nowhere as PW Insider is reporting. We will talk about out of nowhere later. The Wrestling Observer reported that Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa isn't happening at WrestleMania. Once again, you might want to tell the WWE that if current storytelling is anything to go by. Also, as we kind of know, I'm expecting in a couple of weeks we'll see the Wrestling Observer dispute their own report and, make money off it. Funnily enough, this is exactly what we go to in the next one. The Wrestling Observer said that The Rock might be booked for WrestleMania after all, contrary to reports that he wouldn't. Answer in the comments, who do you think was the one who reported that he wouldn't? You guessed it, they're the ones who reported that he wouldn't. Again, the Observer rumour kills itself and somehow gets credit and income for both reports. They are literally just taking your money now. Fightful reported that they hadn't heard of any plans for Randy Orton at WrestleMania, even though WWE wanted him involved. Now, he returned at the Chamber. He seems set to face Kevin Owens, as I reported. So while they haven't heard of plans, I had already reported plans. WrestleVote said WWE wrestlers don't like SmackDown being 3 hours. Fightful's paywall said, yes, they did. So no, he didn't. Yes, he did. It's all a bit pantomime. They can't both be right, surely. Someone just take a poll and maybe actually ask the wrestlers. Finally, and I take no pleasure in this one, We saw the trap close on Dr. Chris Featherstone and Sportskeeda. There's a reason I'm very careful with what I report during my shows, and this is why. I know that I've intentionally been given false information in the past, but for some reason, Dr. Chris Featherstone decided, hey, this is definitely worth reporting. I almost feel like this happens in and around Sportskeeda. There's just a pressure there. The report was, behind a paywall, that Drew McIntyre was booked to win the Elimination Chamber because of The Rock's return. This is false on numerous levels. Drew McIntyre was not booked to win. Instead, he was eliminated first during the match, which led to John Cena winning and then, because of The Rock, turning heel on Cody Rhodes. Knowing that this was clearly the plan, how on earth would Drew McIntyre have been involved? I'm yet to see any comment from Dr. Chris Featherstone. My hope is that what we won't see is him saying, plans changed because of my report getting out. People paid money to see information that was clearly false, reported by someone who'd been painting a very clear and very wrong image on backstage issues with Drew McIntyre. I'm not going to recommend that anyone get their money back. I'm just going to recommend you have a think about who you trust with your hard-earned cash when they're giving you the wrong information. That's 7 reports from the Wrestling Observer, 5 from Peterborough Insider, 3 from Fightful, 4 from WrestleVotes, and 3 from Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda. Technically, those last 2 mean 7 from Sportskeeda. Drop a comment if you want more content like this in future. Check out the WrestleMania preview on screen now, and leave a like so I know you're enjoying it.